Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. The next episode of Red Valkyrie is about to start. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Red Valkyrie. I am your host, Shae Zombie, and I'm here with the super awesome, amazingly talented Phil Pops. How you doing, Phil?
What's up? Thanks for having me, Shay. Finally on here.
I know, gosh, dude, I swear, like we've been trying to do this for
Yeah.
since what Magic Cop like was in its first month.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
We are terrible. We cannot get our schedules right. But hey, you're here now. We finally did this shit. I am proud of us.
Yeah.
And we are actually here because somebody is launching a new campaign
That's right. That's me.
called The
We're
Lost
launching.
Pages. I know, if you couldn't
Yeah.
tell who, it's not me. I'm definitely not launching anything. Nobody wants anything I have to offer. However, Phil has The Lost Pages, and I want to hear all about that because we've heard a lot about Magic Cop, but I want to hear about Lost Pages right now.
Yeah. So the Lost Pages, this is like, man, these characters my brother and I came up with years ago. And basically, in its, purest, form or pitch, I would say it is the start of the Zaid Comics connected universe of heroes. So, you look at DC, you look at Marvel, they have a big group of superheroes, and this is that for our company. These are characters that, like I said, we've worked on for years, and we kind of combine them into one book that is building the foundation for our universe. So you could read this beginning to end. It's its own one contained story that has multiple stories within it. And the basic pitch is when a magical book falls into the hands of a homeless man, he starts speaking these stories of incredible heroes that protect our world, stories lost to time, spoken into the world for the first time now, and we get looks at characters from different genres, different walks of life, and they will all eventually come together to write the end of the world.
That's so fucking awesome. I
Thanks.
love that we're getting so many people that are taking multiple stories and combining them all together
Yeah, yeah.
into one book, but with various artists and stuff. It's such a neat
Thanks.
concept.
It's a challenge too. Giving each character their own amount of, for lack of a better term, screen time in
Right.
there, so you learn some bits about them and want to learn more and see where their journey takes them. Um, yeah, so it was organizing this, and as a writer was challenging, but I I think people are going to dig where things are going and the stories that I came up with for this book, drawn by amazing artists. We got some different artists, and since this is kind of a exercise of genre, we got different artists to draw in their own styles that really enhance these characters and bring out their themes. Like as you can see here with the silhouette, he's kind of our supernatural vigilante. He's actually the first character my brother and I ever came up with together and published, and he's back for the first time drawn in this graphic novel. And I think people are going to dig him. His is that's the only story that's in black and white. So as you can see there, even from the color is totally different from the rest of the stories.
That's really cool. So this one's done by Maxi.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
Max, you guys may have seen him on Jack Iron's Steel Cowboy.
mm-hmm.
That's where I found him. It's an
Yeah.
awesome Argentinian artist that I've been working with. I started working with him on some backstories, like kind of like short stories for the Lost Pages characters
Mm-hmm.
when we started Magic Ops. So him and I have been working together for like a year now, and really excited to actually get those stories out because I kind of worked with him to get the voices and the looks for these characters. And I wrote 4-page short stories for each of the Lost Pages characters that will be included in the campaign as a supplemental book. So if you guys are really digging the Lost Pages and you want the full quality and full, story from this book, the featured tier is going to have the main book and the supplemental book with the short stories in it.
That is super awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
So sorry, Angie is very distracting. No, no, you are not going to get a mad scientist laugh. It's not happening. Leave me alone.
Hail
Leave me and my
Adam.
goggles alone.
Yo, what's up? El Gargoyle in the chat?
Dude, we got
Awesome.
everybody, man.
Yeah, sweet.
I love it. I love having a bunch of people show up and just kind of at least stop by and say hey. It's always awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so the next one that you have is Wild Card.
Yeah, Wild
being
Card.
done by Joe Ball.
Yeah, Joe Ball,
So exciting.
amazing artist. From Super Harem. He's doing a lot of work for CG Jumpstart with his book Death, Death, Death. I've become great friends with him over the months of being in CG, and he wanted to take a stab at Wild Card. Wild Card is another amazing hero in the Lost Pages, but he comes from a different time than the Silhouette. He's from Merlin times. He's a sorcerer and apprentice to Merlin, and lives throughout the ages, battling mythical monsters and keeping the balance between the gods and man straight. So he is a total sorcerer. He has a magical tattoo on his arm that gives him his power, a tattoo that he got from Merlin. And in this specific story, he is a pirate in the 1600s. Yes. And he's sailing with his crew when on the shore, some sirens start singing to the crew members and they go insane, try to jump off the boat, steer the boat into some rocks. And Wildcard has to, try to get his men back and take out these horrific sirens. So this story is more of like a mythical horror that I like to explore with this character.
Oh, that's really cool. That's kind of like there's that one section in the Odyssey.
Yeah.
Very similar to that. That is so cool. I love that you're taking it to a more kind of spooky horror kind of place as opposed to just kind of tragic.
Yeah, no, this is, like I said, with all these characters, it lets me explore my different, muscles of writing, the things that I love. Like I love mythology. So throughout the series and, for future books, we're going to see Wildcard go up against a lot of mythical figures that I just love and want to take a stab at. There's a big, misconception where sirens often get confused with mermaids, but originally in Greek mythology, they were the three sisters who protect Persephone. And when she was dragged down into Hades by Hades, her mother Demeter blamed them for not protecting her. So she turned them into these horrific women, so they'd never be, loved by men. So in my head canon, they kind of are scorned by men and blame Hades for their demise. So they take all of their anger and hunger, I would say, out on these pirates. Yeah.
That is really cool. I don't know why we don't have more pirate books in indie comics as a whole. Like I love like the open seas and the pirates and plundering and pillaging and all this like ridiculousness that happens. And it's so cool because you could literally take them anywhere.
Yeah. No, and we'll see CG is still growing, so a bunch of new stories and books are coming out. Yep. And I love that they're so eclectic in their genres and settings. Like with Wildcard, since he does live throughout time, this is just one snippet of time in his life. In the future, we'll see him, in the Victorian era. I have a cowboy story I want to explore with him in the Wild West. So he's going to be all over the place. And then, of course, in modern day, he'll actually interact. He'll meet the Silhouette. He'll meet the other characters, and they'll learn about each other and at some points team up also. So just super excited for everybody to get in on this and ride the train and the journey of where the Lost Pages goes in the future.
Absolutely. That is really badass. Okay, so your other two artists, you have Wolf and you have Alan Alonso. So what is Wolf's?
So Wolf is an artist that I've known for years. She goes by Maria the Wolf, and she's a local artist here in Chicago that I met at a convention. And she's totally badass. She's like this, 5'1", a Native American Mexican chick who just draws the most jacked, ripped, monstrous figures and Native American art and dragons and stuff. So I had been friends with her, like I said, for years, just through the convention circuit. And I have this character, Crimstone, who I'm like, it's perfect for you, Wolf. Like, she and I are huge Lobo fans,
Mhm.
and this character is kind of like an homage to that ultra-violence '90s bombastic characters like Lobo and the Mask and the Max. So this story, we can get into it later when I show off some pages and stuff. This is like, if you're a '90s fan, this one's for you. And that's why I think the great thing about the Lost Pages is, if you're just a comics fan in general, you're going to
Mhm.
find something that you love in here, because it goes so many places, from the noir vigilante of the Silhouette to the horrific mythology and magic of Wildcard, and then to the '90s, which I know in CG, the '90s stuff is huge. We got guys like Dan Fraga coming out and bringing back the '90s with Black Flag. Ethan, of course, with Cyberfrog started in the '90s,
Yep.
and I think Crimstone is going to be a new character that represents that era of comics that we are
That's
bringing
really
back with the Lost Pages.
that's really cool, and I love the variety in all of your characters' kind of like looks and aesthetics,
Thank you.
but the fact that at the same time, like they also kind of seem like they could be in the same setting at some point, which is
Cool.
good if you're going to
Thanks.
bring them all together.
Yeah. It's especially as a writer, I think it's really difficult to come up with new superheroes.
Yes.
And I always tell writers and people that are just starting out that don't rush your characters and don't rush your comics, because the longer you think about them, the longer you write them and kind of like simmer in their juices, if that doesn't sound too gross. Uh, the longer you do that, the better the character and the more real they're going to come out of your head.
Right.
Like I said, the Silhouette Brandon and I created in 2011 was the first stories I was writing with him. And that was back when we were making the comics from photographs we would take in front of a green screen in our garage and Photoshop to look like a comic, because we didn't have the confidence that we can actually make an illustrated comic.
Right.
So these characters, they're older than Magic Cop, and I think that people are going to see that we put a lot of thought into them. So
It's almost like Magic Cop is kind of like you're getting your feet wet
yeah,
for something that's like near and dear to your heart. Like obviously
for
Magic Cop
sure.
is still very very near and dear to you, but at the same time like these
Yeah,
have been sitting with you for so many years and these have been
yeah.
developing and growing. Like they
Hmm.
become your babies. You got to hold on to them until you're ready.
Yeah. No, that's a great way to put it, for sure.
That
Yeah.
is super great. Okay, so what is Alan doing?
So Alan is doing a really important character in the book. The genre of his character would be like the 1930s pulp hero. So if you think of like the Shadow, like those radio show stars, like the Shadow, the Green Hornet, the
Mhm.
Spider, a lot of those characters Dynamite is putting out, and Alex Ross, the great artist, loves those characters. So you've seen him draw and paint those guys. But this character's name is the Masquerade, and he is a crime fighter from the 1930s, very reminiscent of like that, written in the way of the 1966 Batman show, where you have that overarching narrator. He's like deep inside an abandoned library. So I
That's
try to
awesome.
write each character and story in a different way that enhances their theme. So if you guys dig that old timey, almost like golden age hero who is beating up mobsters and wacky villains that are like have gimmicks to them, Masquerade is your guy. He's obsessed with theater, so he speaks in Shakespearean language. He speaks in iambic pentameter, which is a challenge but really fun to write.
Oh, he
And
sounds insufferable.
yeah, but sometimes, but I always use that rhyming dictionary as your friend.
Yeah.
So, and he has a rapier sword, and he's also a master of disguise. So he could take the form of anyone by throwing his, big cape over himself. He can morph to anyone. And his story is action packed, just like the rest of them. And he's a big part of the Lost Pages. He, of course, will eventually, go on to be something bigger, but we're his time is kind of in the past, like I said, in the 1930s. So we're going to see Chicago in the 1930s, the old cars, the old styles of dressing, kind of that flapper style outfits, which is really cool. He has a love interest in his story too. So yeah.
That is super cool. So this, gosh, you put a lot of thought into this.
Thanks.
I'm really, really excited. So yeah, if you haven't already signed up, so you're doing a first day backer special. Are you keeping that secret?
So yeah. Well, actually, I should probably update that. We changed that. So what we're offering is if you sign up for the mailing list and back the book, you're going to get a free trading card.
Okay.
Because we're kind of doing these trading cards, teaming up with pretty big artists in the scene, and I've been fortunate enough to befriend a lot of them, and they're like, yeah, dude, that would be awesome. So we have a lot of surprises coming out for you guys. So you want to definitely sign up for the mailing list so you know when we're launching, and you get this free trading card. On top of that, if you back the first week of the comic, you're going to get another free trading card that I already have the art for, but keeping it secret until then. It's by a pretty awesome CG artist. So you're definitely going to want that.
Jeez. Wait, when are you launching?
We're going to launch next month.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have time.
Yeah, definitely get on the mailing list, and keep to the social media to see all the awesome pages that we're putting out, because as we speak, some are getting colored, some are still getting worked on, and we're really excited about it. I could actually show some colored stuff also.
Sure, yeah, let's check out
Sweet.
some of your stuff.
Let me see what we should show first. Let's show some silhouette stuff first, which is the one that's not colored, but
it's Maxi. So
yeah, it's Maxi. So I'll pull this over here, and this is this is actually the second page of the book, which you guys seen me post, but this is kind of like the main shot. The first time you see him, this story is all about him and his relationship with the city. It's called a shadow taller than a soul, and it's him observing all the sin around him, and he's kind of a character that sees in black and white, because if you're someone that is just an innocent person, then you don't need to deal with the silhouette. But if you're someone that is harming others and taking those innocent lives, then silhouette's going to put you down. He's a very mysterious character, doesn't really know a lot about his past, and throughout the story in the series, we're gonna learn more and more about him. Yeah.
Okay.
He's pretty.
It's really cool. I love the aesthetic. One of the things that I love about Maxi's artwork is the fact that he is so sketchy in everything that he does.
Oh yeah.
And nothing feels super refined, but at the same time, like, you always know what he's drawing and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not so sketchy that you can't understand what he's doing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this one is there's blood in here. The blood's going to be in red, and it's more of a mature action book or story, I should say. Think of like Frank Miller's Sin City.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be some indications of sex and stuff. There's some prostitutes in this one, and how he feels about that. Here's another. Let's see if we could pull this page up. This is the next page here. His inner monologue, talking about how who he is and what he thinks about his life. So yeah, the silhouette is one of my favorites. I hope people like we're getting a lot of good reception from him because he's so simple.
Mm-hmm.
He actually came out of a joke between my brother and I of like, oh, wouldn't it be really dumb if there was a character that was just all shadow, and that's what he was. He couldn't really do anything else. He's kind of like based on the character the Shadow, where he could turn into a shadow, where the silhouette can't. He's just always a shadow. He's always the absence of light. He can't turn back into a human.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So we're getting some questions from Sim. So how many issues do you have planned for the Lost Pages?
Whew. So For this story specifically, and I know that's not what he's asking about, but for this one, it's I think it's 4 chapters,
Mhm.
and it has a running story from beginning to end of the homeless man with the book of lost pages telling these stories, and then there's a kind of like a cliffhanger at the end. But there's so many lost pages stories dealing with each character that could potentially lead to spin-off stories with these characters. But right now I just want to build the foundation of the universe and introduce these characters before I delve into them specifically. And I'm a big fan of Mike Mignola's Hellboy, and
Mhm.
how each of his stories with Hellboy are self-contained, but when you read everything, there's an overarching story of who you realize this character is. So that's what I'm trying to do with the Lost Pages.
Okay.
Um, you know, but
Very
to
cool.
answer that question, it's going to be a lot
A
of stories.
lot.
Yeah,
Many. Stay
many,
tuned.
many stories for sure.
How many artists are you going to have in this book? And I'm assuming probably future books. Are you going to switch up your artists?
Well, of course, it depends on their availability. I've already had to, before we put up the pre-launch page on the Masquerade, we had a different artist, but he did a 4-page short story for me, which is going to be part of the campaign. But he's now didn't have time to do anything more with me. So we got Alan, which I'm really excited about because I'm loving what he's doing with this character, the Masquerade. But of course, you want to keep your artists with your characters. Sometimes you're not able to do that. So for each character, they're going to have their own artists until they all come together and show up in each other's books and stuff like that.
So you're looking at 4 artists per.
Yeah, right now it's 4.
So, okay, then since you have that kind of beginning story of a homeless man who finds the book, do you
Yeah.
have a different artist for that, or are you utilizing one of the 4 that you already have?
So Maxie is actually doing those pages for the homeless man as well. He actually designed him for the short story that's going into CG Jumpstart with the silhouette.
Okay.
I actually have a page of that Maxie did. I'll pull up right here. So this is kind of our big shot in the the hobo start of the story, as you can see here. We can
Oh,
zoom in
wow.
here. We have the hobos talking around the trash fire, kind of like a an iconic thing. And this panel here, where the guy doesn't have a face, this is where the backers can actually buy in to have their
Drawn.
likeness drawn in. Yeah,
So you could be one of the homeless.
yeah, yeah.
I
So you
love
could
it.
be a little hobo, and then this is our big splash, kind of like showing all of our heroes. And in fact, some of these heroes won't show up in this book. These are heroes from future issues, future stories of the Lost Pages.
Oh, jeez.
Because as you can see, we got the silhouette, we have Wildcard in the center, Masquerade. We have Taz, who is the chick from Crimstone. Would you?
Has looks psychotic there.
Yeah, she's
Like, good shit. He made her all teeth.
yeah. This is she wears like this face mask because she's
Oh,
also a
I didn't get the face mask.
yeah. So
Damn it.
she's like a graffiti tagger, so she'll wear that when she's tagging and stuff like that. And then
Dude, you
these,
know the worst part is I actually have one of those I totally could have grabbed.
damn,
It has
I
a
should have
mouth
showed
on
you
it.
this. That would have been
That's
awesome.
fine.
And then these 3 other characters are future heroes that'll come down the line. And here's our
That is so
hobo.
cool. I really like how that's kind of depicted because it's like this haze of characters just kind of coming from this book.
Yeah, and I'll actually do. We could do a little exclusive here, showing
Oh,
this in
oh,
color,
I
because we just
have.
got the colors back.
Yes.
Check this out.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That is really cool.
So you can see them all in their colorful glory, which is awesome because this is the first time I've actually had Maxie's art colored, because it was all silhouette stuff
Hmm.
before. But yeah, I'm really excited about all this. I can't wait for everybody to meet all these characters.
That
So
is
it's so
really
cool.
cool. This is a super exciting, like that splash page in color you need to push out more. That is
Yeah,
really cool.
yeah, we're gonna. pump that up.
A really, really cool background.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Huh, sorry, I got very excited. We got an exclusive.
What other characters do you want to talk about?
Well, so
Would you like to
one other question that Sim had was, how many characters do you have in all?
I don't know. Well, it's like, so right now, let's see, on this page we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 on that splash. And then there's a character that Sim and I want to do together.
Nice.
Maybe like 12 to 15.
12
you know? Yeah.
You jumped from 8 to 12 to 15.
Yeah, it's probably like around 12. But you know, it's a big, there's bad guys, there's good guys,
Right.
and there's some characters that, you know, I have a Google Docs that just has a bunch of characters on it for the universe, that some are just like really small ideas and stuff, but you know, there's a lot, and I have a lot of spent a lot of free time of mine just thinking of stories and characters, and you know, and that's what, you know, you kind of do as a creator.
Yeah, no, that's I mean, that's really awesome. That's really cool. Do you need a hand turkey character? Because I got you if you do.
Yeah, we're gonna need one. We're gonna need that.
I'll make you hand turkey fan art. You can do with it what you will.
Yes. That's great.
You know, eventually, not to steal your thunder, but there might be some fan turkey leggings in the near future, like of just all of the hand turkey.
That would be so cool.
Splattered over.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I'm working on it. I need to do a couple more people.
So
all right. So the other question that Sim had was one that we had already talked about. However, just to recap.
Yeah, so you'll be able to, once you get on the mailing list and you back the book, you'll get a free trading card. And then to try to entice, you know, backers to get in on the book as early as possible, if you back during the first week of the launch of the book, you're going to get another amazing trading card from a big CG artist.
Two trading cards from 2 different CG artists.
Yeah, for sure.
Hell yeah. That is super awesome. Okay. So I think, hard to see through the blue lenses, but I'm pretty sure that looks like Joe Ball. Is that Joe Ball?
Yeah. So this one here is the page, the wild card page. You can see the big pirate ship here.
Oh my gosh.
Like so much detail Joe puts in here. And then the sirens morphing into their horrific bird forms. You see they're like beautiful ladies on the seashore, and they fly out after singing the song and hypnotizing his crew members.
I don't like them at all.
Yeah, they are gross.
Horrific.
Yeah.
I have to have a word with Joe, make sure he's okay.
And then we have a wild card here, punching one of his crew members in, getting into a fight, and a beautiful splash of the boat. Look at that. So yeah, this is going to be a really fun one. It's actually set, the narration is a poem that I wrote about sirens. And so there's not any dialogue in it. It's just this imagery set to the rhythm of the poem. And I was really excited about doing this because I love poetry, and I think this is gonna be something different that not a lot of people have seen in comics.
Phil, you and I need to talk, because that's about the only thing that I'm comfortable writing is poetry.
Oh yeah, I love that.
But I'm trying to find a way to bring it to this group of people, and I don't know that they're down for my like emo sad bullshit.
No, I think, you know, CG loves quality stuff, and they'd be down for anything. Like we see Red Gaze, he's putting out a novel, and that's doing pretty well.
It's doing phenomenal. It's such a cool concept. We had him on last, and talking with him about everything that he's got for his project is so cool, and it's nice to see everything branching out.
Yeah, for sure. No, yeah, so this was kind of my way to wrap a little poetry up into the story, narrated, you know, by the hobo guy, and telling this crazy story of wild card fighting these sirens.
Oh, wow. Phil, how did you take me from like pretty damn excited for this book to like, why the hell is it not in my hands already?
Thank you so much. No, that's awesome. That's the whole thing. The best part about this is seeing other people get excited about the characters that I've created. It's awesome.
Well,
I
I
love
mean,
it.
it's everything. So you have multiple types of storytelling, which is something that I love, and I'm actually trying to. If I can just get my shit together, I will eventually have another segment of Red Valkyrie that will be just
Yeah.
dedicated to authors, to writers.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Because that's something that we don't. Pretty pictures are wonderful, and everybody has them, but nobody ever sits down and talks about the art of storytelling.
Yeah.
And that's something that I really, really want to do. And to see you take that kind of concept and break it down to, I'm doing poetry, I'm doing, this kind of storytelling, that kind of storytelling, and putting them to different artists with different feels that match what you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's just so much thought and care that has gone into it, and it makes this such a unique project and such a unique campaign. And I went from being pretty fucking stoked about it to like, I'm going to be staring in my email waiting for this.
Thank you so much. No, that's awesome praise. And I love getting other people excited about my stuff, like I said. And that's what this is all about. Like I am so happy to see guys like Drew with Captain Love doing even better than his first campaign.
Yeah,
Because that makes me so excited for the Lost Pages. Because I want this book in as many people's hands as possible. And I want it to be something that people are really excited to promote, and something that they're really excited to call CG. So that's what I'm trying my best at.
you're delivering so far, dude. Like, for real, and you're already established. Like, everyone that I know that has Magic Cop loves Magic Cop.
Thanks. I'm stoked for that. That was the best thing, seeing that.
Okay, so now this one is.
Yeah, this is Crimstone. So this the hero, the vigilante name is Crimstone, and it's made of two beings. We have Taz Stone, who's the chick. She is this mid-20s bodybuilder chick. She's a lifter and kind of like a fighter too. She's taken a lot of fighting classes, and her imaginary friend Crim. So when she was little, she didn't have any friends, and so she made Crim, who was this like lanky, goofy imaginary friend. They'd get in trouble together. He'd always have her back. And as she grew up, she forgot about him, as kids do. Reality sets in, and you don't really have time for imaginary friends anymore. You have to deal with life a more real way, and she had to deal with it in the most realist ways ever. She, went through abusing alcohol and a bunch of different adult coping mechanisms that kind of messed her up, and didn't felt like she never a way out and getting past that stuff, until one day she started going to the gym, working out, building up her self-confidence, stuff like that. And then tragedy hits, and Crim burst back into her life as this hulking, monstrous, bombastic, toxically masculine badass. And they help each other fight crime in the city. So
your toxic masculinity is what you're telling me.
Yeah, well, it's like that. Does like Lobo from DC in the '90s, so like doesn't care about anybody else but himself, and kind of clashing those two worlds of their best friends. And Crim is kind of that personality that she wishes she could be. She wishes she could not care about anything, that she could do whatever she wants, that she could have, he's got all these tattoos on his arms that glow. She could have these crazy tattoos and not care what people think of her. And he helps her with that. Also, she gets like super strength and shit with it. But yeah,
just like as an aside.
it's a perk as well. Yeah, and then I'll show you a colored page of Crimstone, because those colors are crazy.
Is this another exclusive, or have you already shown this?
I tweeted this out a couple times, but look at this. So, and the cool thing about the storytelling in this is no one else could see Crim except for her. And then when she's kicking ass, the reader sees Crim doing it.
Oh
So we
my
see this guy
god.
again.
That is awesome.
Thanks.
That is really cool. Holy shit. I love the colors. So you really have this love of this like 80s motif for sure when it comes to like these bright neon colors. I'm noticing a trend.
For his aesthetic, when he's like in battle mode, like when he starts kicking ass, I want it to be like as if a black light turned on in the whole room. So there's like a mood change. It's super extreme, drastic, and we know stuff's about to go down.
That's really
You know?
cool. That's a really
Yeah.
cool idea.
Thank you. Yeah, and she's a biker babe, so she works at like a mechanic shop on motorcycles, and she loves graffiti as well. So
sweet. So
yeah.
I didn't quite get the hair right, as she has a haircut that I can't have.
Right. Yeah.
But you know, I tried.
No, it was awesome. Yeah, you got the goggles. She's got those crazy like, over the top goggles, sunglasses. Just really I don't know, badass.
She's just badass.
Cool, yeah.
She's a badass chick.
Yeah. And during the main book, her story, you're gonna get that background from her. So hers is more of a origin story than anyone else's. You actually see the first time that they meet each other again when he's this monstrous figure. And you get that they kind of have like a heart to heart talking with each other. Where have you been for so long? You get flashbacks of when they were young. And the really cool stuff is what Krim was doing in her head all those years is he was actually battling these inner demons while she was dealing with life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, she rips that dude's arm off.
Well, that stuff is going on in her head. So later, like the next page, it seems like Krim is doing that, but she's just kicking the crap out of everybody. And you see at the end, the bar is just riddled with these guys that are just bloody on the ground, with their faces pounded in and stuff like that.
It's just like my spirit animal. That's exactly what pissed me off. Like that last panel, that's what I see.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna rip your arm off. I'm gonna beat you over the head with it.
Yeah. So I'm right now. I think I'm the most excited about Crimstone, just because it's kind of like an homage to everything I love from the '90s.
That is really cool. That's exciting. I love it.
Thank you.
Okay, so you have
and then the last one is this guy right here. Yeah, the Masquerade. This is pencils and inks from one of the interior pages, but this is kind of like the title page where you see him over the city, and he's not actually giant size. It's like a artistic envision, but this is him. He's totally from a time of the 1930s that we don't get to see anymore. Gangsters and crazy wacky supervillains, and just being cool. I don't know. He speaks in Shakespearean talk, which is something that I really like. I'm a big fan of Etrigan the Demon by Jack Kirby, and for a long time after Jack got off that book, Alan Moore was writing him in Swamp Thing, and he would speak in only rhymes. So I wanted this character to have his like obsession be with theater. You'll find out in the story that his secret identity is actually a theater actor in the 30s, and very suave. And his superhero form, his crime fighter form, speaks in the iambic pentameter, like Romeo and Juliet and such. But the art that is coming along with this one is totally a throwback to those old like 70s comics, those 60s, those golden age comics, where it's more of, I would say, an older kind of like cartoonier style. And definitely the way that I'm writing it with that heavy narration is going to give you that feeling that you're reading something from that time as well.
Oh, that's really cool.
Thanks.
Gosh, they're all just so drastically different, but they're so intriguing, and all of them have their own little bits that it's like, I just want to pull on that thread a little bit more and know a little bit more about it.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. I wanted you to read one story that encapsulated comics as a whole. Like you're reading through different eras, basically, with these characters, and it leaves room for more characters to come and different stories to spread out from this.
That this is gonna be so exciting.
Yeah, I'm super hyped about it.
Okay,
I'm very, very excited.
So you're planning on launching sometime next month.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And when are you hoping to fulfill?
So we have a lot done with the stories. The first silhouette story is totally completed. I just finished lettering that. So hopefully we're going to try to have it so when we do end the campaign, we're going to be able to ship stuff out. If not, maybe a month, in demand. And then what we're going to do is the same thing we're doing with Magic Hop, is leave it in demand for a little bit. Yeah, and yeah, for sure. And we're working with a bunch of awesome talent, not just the guys doing the stories, but like I said, people doing amazing trading cards for us. We have an awesome cover announcement that I think is going to blow people away when they hear who's doing the cover. So yeah, this is going to be a big one, and I'm glad that we have a lot of fans from Magic Hop that are willing to take another trip on the Lost Pages with us.
Absolutely, dude. I mean, this is seriously, this is cooler than I thought it was going to be.
Thanks.
And this isn't me doubting you in any way, shape, or form.
Man.
It's just, it is cooler than I thought it was going to be.
Thank you. No, that makes me so happy. I hope everybody else feels like that.
You kind of blew me away with this. Yeah. So, all right. So, see, I can't even think. So you talked about Magic Hop. So, since that is still in demand and you're going to be keeping it in demand for a while, we might as well bring that up.
Here it is. Got it right here.
Hold on. You need to be full screen.
Magic Hop. Now, this is my brother and I's first graphic novel ever. It's 92 pages of story, with all the interior covers. I think it's over 100 pages, and I could not be happier about how it came out. You guys, some people did reviews. People have been posting it on Twitter. If you guys are on the fence about this, definitely check out those reviews, and ask some people around how they're digging it, because I'm really happy that people are liking the writing. It's hard as a writer coming into comics when no one knows your material, because you need pictures. So I'm glad we were able to get this to the people. People have an idea of what Zate Comics is all about and the quality that we're willing to put out. And this is the perfect example of it. So excited.
Super awesome. And obviously you can see you were very excited as you have the gigantic poster behind you.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, we're close to 10K now.
Yeah, you were very close. You were under 500 from hitting 10K. And you guys definitely deserve to hit that.
Thanks.
5 figures, 1,000%.
That would be, oh man, I didn't, beyond our wildest dreams, the reception and the fan base we've been getting. So if you guys check that out, if you haven't got one already, we have some awesome tiers on there still. The featured tier I would suggest you get, which comes with the ash can that has another short story in it and a bunch of information about the conception of the IP, basically how we came up with Magic Hop, and a bunch of character concepts and fan art in there.
That is super awesome.
Yeah.
So you can get that for 45, which is really not bad for 2 books.
Thanks. Yeah.
You can also get the digital.
Yeah.
So that one's $25. Also a signed book is the same.
Yeah.
So, I understand digital if you're overseas. I get it. You don't want to pay shipping. I get it.
For sure. Yeah.
Otherwise, you really don't have an excuse, and I don't just go. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, and stuff that we're still giving away as stretch goals. When anyone ever backs, we send them the MP3 of the Magic Hop theme song, so you could listen to that while reading or driving, down the beach and stuff like that.
Is that theme song up here?
Yeah, it's in the video. Has the theme song in it. It's fun
so this
stuff.
is happening now.
everybody, it's Phil
and Brandon,
writer
and artist
of Magic Cop, our newest graphic novel from Zaid Comics, live here on Indiegogo.
Hey, I'm wearing that
jump
shirt.
in on the action with us with this trailer right now.
This is so 80s.
Yeah, we had our buddy Bosto, who did the theme song for Monster MD, and Deathsworn, he did a theme song for Magic Cop.
Oh, that's awesome.
As well as he's actually doing a Lost Pages theme song for the trailer too.
That is perfect. I like the creative close-ups on the boobs.
Yeah, gotta sell it.
I mean, boob stop.
Oh man, you have to see the Lost Pages cover. There's some Taz has got some boobs going on in there.
I really like your guys' like depiction of mermaids where they like almost look normal but then just don't.
Yeah.
So wonderfully 80s. Oh my gosh. This entire trailer.
Yeah, it was crazy to make. I forget the program I used, but like in 3D space and you can put pictures in there. It's awesome.
Thanks for watching, everybody. And remember, we need your help to make Magic Cop happen.
So spread the word and hop on in. Let's go make some comics.
That's great.
That was fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
We got Magic Cop.
There's Magic Cop. So if you wanted to know what the soundtrack sounds like, it's that.
Yeah. You'll get that. There's a scene at the end where it actually tells you to start the Magic Cop theme song. So you could read it during the book. Or you can listen to it during the book. You read it. It's pretty fun.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so back to your tiers. So for $45, you can get 2 signed comic books. So it saves you a little bit of dosh.
Yep.
And obviously saves you on shipping. So if you've got a friend and you both want one,
yeah,
might as well team up. Okay, I'm gonna need you to explain your naughty prints.
Yes. So yeah, I could show you. Inside the book, we have 4 interior covers that show or like little like covers for each chapter. So you can see here is the first chapter cover, and we have prints of this uncensored. So this knife will be gone. You can see all the fun lady bits on there. So yeah, so that's actually one of our highest purchase tiers. As you can see here, there's a bunch of mermaids in the water, and they're blacked out, so you'll be able to see all their the color on them as well. So it comes with 4 prints as well as the book with that tier. Those are uncensored prints.
Uncensored if you want naughty boobies, essentially. Lots of boobies.
Yes.
That's awesome. Okay. And then if you want
so that's like our everything tier. It comes with 4 prints, the ash can, the comic, and as well as you could in the add-on section before checkout, you could add any of the prints on to your purchase. Being the naughty prints or the censored ones, or the cover, a print of the cover, or the print of the ash can cover.
Awesome. All right.
Then,
So I did have a question. See the back cover. If somebody wanted a print of that, is that also offered, or is this just the back cover?
So I don't think we have it as up on an add-on. I'd have to talk to Passion and see. I mean, he'd probably be okay with it, but yeah, we should probably put that in as an add-on.
I mean, personally, I would, because I feel like
Yeah, I love that.
if you just love 80s goodness, this is
Yeah.
probably as 80s as it gets.
Yeah. That was added to the campaign a little bit later after we did the fan contest because he did that for us, and then we loved it so much we put it on the back cover, as you can see, and yeah, that would be awesome. I think that would be a great print. Another thing for Magic Cop that we just put up is we have an Etsy store now. So if you guys want some Magic Cop T-shirts, you could go there and check that out. That helps us out a lot as well, letting us bring more awesome comics to you guys and more cool shirts. So in the future, we're going to be adding more stuff to that. Maybe some shirts from our buddies from Comicsgate and some prints as well. I think that would be a good place to put them.
Sweet. Okay. So if you're interested, I will get that link and put it into the channel description after we are finished here. But yeah, that's another really cool little perk that you're just throwing in there. Like, oh, if you really want like a T-shirt, because I mean, everybody, if you've watched any of these episodes, you should know by now. If anybody offers T-shirts on their campaign, I'm probably gonna go broke back into T-shirt because I got my Deathsworn T-shirt.
Yeah.
That killed me. It was amazing. Made comics rage again. It looks so badass. And I've got
it was awesome.
Arch City. I've got stuff for S.E. Tonks. Some of his really cool signature stuff. And he's cool like art ones up now too that he's been working on. But the CG wearables are where I like geek the fuck out. And so gonna have to get me a Magic Cop shirt now just because I have to. I mean,
we're gonna we're gonna put a video up tomorrow about a new shirt that's coming to the Etsy shop, and I think everybody's gonna love that one. So stay tuned for tomorrow's video on Zaid Comics.
Okay, so for $75 you can get a 5-comic bundle and a retail poster.
Yeah, so it's a poster that only comes with the retail pack. It's all done by my brother. He did the the art and the colors for it. I'll try to pull it up here, but if I can find it on my Twitter. But yeah, he wanted to do like his own poster for the campaign, and so if like you have a comic shop, you could put it in your window. And we did sell one of them, which we're really excited about. We sent that all out, and I can't wait to see if the guy posted up maybe in his window or something. That would be so cool. Here it is. Let me pull it up. And I'm going to share it. Let's see.
Oh, nice.
So again, totally, it's kind of like an 80s movie poster. He did.
It really is.
Yeah.
Like 1,000% like an 80s movie poster. It's so awesome.
That's what he was shooting for. So if you guys dig that, it's part of the comic bundle, and it's only available through that retailer bundle.
Only way that you'll get it. So go find 4 friends
and
tell them that you get a poster.
Yeah.
That's super great. Okay. So now you have original art here.
Yeah. So that is the cover to our ash can, which is right here, and it's all colored up on the ash can, but that is actually the original art. So it's the pencils and inks. Elliot Fernandez did this beautiful cover for us. Wow. Totally another kind of like movie poster or like a cover of a VHS tape.
Yeah, I was gonna say it kind of looks like a cassette tape cover. Like if they were gonna be like a band.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I could totally see it like that.
No, that's awesome. Yeah,
that's super
great. So that's the last one. Yeah.
Sweet. So there, gosh, you just have so much.
I know. We try.
Okay, so I'm gonna open it up. I mean, this is so crazy. We're opening it up at 54 minutes for questions, but I mean, we have talked a lot about a lot of different things that you've got going on. This trips me out. I'm gonna be honest. I hate this because it makes my eyes hurt.
Oh yeah. The flashbacks.
Oh, but it's honestly, I think it's just because I had PRK and I got really, really happy with the fact that my vision was finally clear, and this is what everything used to look like to me.
Oh, so no!
Frustrates me when I see it again.
Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, it was super fun driving. But yeah, I mean, we've covered a lot between everything that you've got going on with Magic Hop, everything that you've got going on with the Lost Pages, and they're both so fucking epic.
Thank you.
I'm really excited. I'm actually very, very excited, and the fact that hearing everything about what I've heard from Magic Hop from people that have gotten it, read it, love it, and then hearing you give your pitch for the Lost Pages, I'm
Thanks.
super stoked for your storytelling, dude. That's really cool.
Thanks, and that's that's why I just want to bring everybody these fun stories, because they're stories that I enjoy, and I think other people are going to dig them. Trying to bring back those awesome heroes from the old days.
So I do have one question I just thought of.
Sure.
Whose car was that?
In the video? That's my brother's car. My brother's car. He bought it like 2 years ago. Saved up money for it. Yeah, it's his Viper. He loves that thing. It's been fine. Finally, it's been nice enough out to take it out again. But weather here in Chicago is crazy. So
yeah. Trust me, I feel you. I don't understand what's going on in Maryland, because it'll be like 30 degrees and the next day it'll be like 75, and I'm just like how do you dress for that? I don't understand. I've had it be 75 burn 30 in the middle of the day. I don't know how to dress for this.
Yep, you're right. That's how it is.
Oh my goodness. Well, seriously, dude, I don't even know if there's any other questions to be had.
We talk a lot.
We asked him as we went. We covered so much ground. This was a blast. This was so much fun.
No, yeah, it's the first time that I really, this is the first stream that I'm kind of like pitching the Lost Pages on. So I'm glad it was here. Glad I finally got on here. It was super fun. And I hope everybody's digging it and gets on that mailing list, because that's what we're really trying to build up right now.
Absolutely. And you know what? I'm going to be honest, Phil. We have been in the same chats. We have talked a lot. We've I am so happy that the first time that you're like, I'm really going to get into the Lost Pages, it was Red Valkyrie. That makes my heart just so happy.
No, I'm glad because every stream, I've gotten used to talking about Magic Hop and pitching that on here, but now it's something new. I got to get back into the swing of things with it. Yeah. So I'm glad it was here.
No, absolutely. And in all honesty, your pitch was really well done. Thanks. Love going into each of the stories. If you are just now joining us, please watch back from the beginning, because Phil really gets into exactly what the Lost Pages are, why we have so many different artists, why all of these stories are so drastically different, but the fact that they are all going to come together. And it's probably one of the most exciting things that I've seen out of CG recently.
Thank you. That's awesome. Yeah, definitely go back and watch it, guys, and hit that like button.
Yes, please. All the likes that we can get. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. We are getting very close to breaking 700. I am super stoked.
That's awesome.
I'm trying to, by the time Sai gets back, I'm hoping that we'll be able to be like, yo, we hit 1,000. What's up? But I mean, that's a lofty goal, so I don't know if we're going to get there. But yes, so please like, share, and subscribe. Red Valkyrie, if you have not already gone and gotten on the mailing list for the Lost Pages, you need to go do that. Absolutely. Make sure that you get on there. You can get the trading card, and if you back within the first week, you get an additional trading card by 2 different artists. Something definitely needs to happen. And if you are interested in Phil and all of his amazingness, go get yourself some Magic Hop. Like, they've got an awesome book that's out. They're ready to deliver. Like, now you'll get it real quick.
Yeah, you will. That's the great thing, especially right now. Everybody's inside. They can't go to their comic shops. CG is the place to be. So books that are in demand right now and already shipping, like Magic Hop, are perfect. You order it, the next day I ship it out to you, and you'll get it like a week later. So it'll be depending on where you are. So, and you'll be able to read it and have that forever. So check that out. Yeah. Also check out the Zaid Comics YouTube channel, if you go to youtube.com/ZadeComics, we have a channel as well.
Every time. I am so very sorry.
You're good.
This is my cue. Apparently, I hit the hour mark, and that was enough for my internet.
You're all good. I talked to everybody. So
thank you. I appreciate it. So please make sure sub to Phil's channel.
Yeah.
Go back his books, and we'll check you guys out next time. Seriously, thank you so much for being on, Phil. Thank you everyone in the chat. Thank you everyone in the replay, and we'll catch you guys next time.
See ya.